So let's review the knowledge area of project quality management. 3 processes are in this knowledge area, which is plan quality management, perform quality assurance, and quality control. Once I do the review, I will go into the questions and answers for this chapter. Let's see where these processes lie, in which process groups. The first one, which is plan quality management, lies in the planning process group. The executing process group has the perform quality assurance, and the monitor and control process groups has the quality control process. Let's see what we have in the first one, which is plan quality management. There is 6 inputs, 8 tools and techniques to plan quality, and 5 outputs. The 6 inputs being project management plan, stakeholder register, with respect to stakeholders who have a particular interest or impact on the quality. Then the risk register, which shows the threats and opportunities that may impact quality requirement. Then we have requirements documentation, enterprise environmental factors, and organizational process assets. Enterprise environmental factors would be government agency regulations, rules, standards, and guidelines, working operating conditions of the project, product that may be affecting project quality. And in the organizational process assets, we have organization's quality policies, procedures, and guidelines, historical databases, lesson learned documents, quality policy as endorsed by senior management. The project management team will need to develop a quality policy for the project. Let's see the tools and techniques that are used to produce the quality management plan. The first tool and technique is cost benefit analysis, which is benefit of meeting quality requirements, which include less rework, higher productivity, lower cost, and increase stakeholder satisfaction. It even compares the cost of quality to the expected benefit. Now the second tool and technique is cost of quality. Now the cost of quality is in the price of creating a quality product or service. It is the cost of not creating a quality product or service. So if you look in the previous process, we have the same tool and technique, cost of quality. It includes cost incurred over the life of the project by investing in preventing non-conformance to requirements, appraising the product or service for conformance to requirements, and failing to meet requirements, which result in rework. Failure cost or cost of non-conformance are categorized into internal and external. Internal is found by the project and external is found by the customer. Now failure costs are also called as cost of poor quality. Then the next tool and technique is 7 basic quality tools, and we are going to review those 7 basic quality tools over here when we get to control quality. The next one is benchmarking, which involves comparing actual or planned project practices to those comparable projects to identify best practices. So you follow the benchmark and then you compare with the benchmark as to what the quality of the product is. Then the design of experiments, which is a statistical method for identifying which factors may influence specific variables of a product or process under development or in production. Design of experiments should be used during quality process to determine the number and type of tests and their impact on cost of quality. The next one is statistical sampling, which involves choosing part of population of interest for inspection. Then we have some more, which is the additional planning tools, which are, we've seen these before, brainstorming, affinity diagrams, used to visually identify logical grouping based on natural relationships, which is affinity diagrams. In the force field analysis, we see the pros and cons, forces for the change and forces against the change, which are again diagrams of the forces for and against change. Then we have nominal group technique, which allows ideas to be brainstormed in small groups and then reviewed by larger groups. We have the matrix diagram, which include 2, 3, or 4 groups of information and shows relationship between factors, causes, and objectives. Then the last one we have is the prioritization matrices, which assign weight to different options and select the best option, which provide a way of ranking a diverse set of problems and issues by their importance. The last tool and technique again is just meetings. So we use those inputs, apply the tools and techniques, and the outputs that we get from the plant quality management process is 5, which is obviously the quality management plan, which describes the project management team will implement the performing organization's quality policy, how they are going to implement it. It is the component of subsidiary plan of the project management plan. So quality management plan is a subsidiary plan for project management plan. Then we get quality metrics. It is an operational definition that describes in very specific terms a project or product attribute and how the quality control process will measure it. Then we have the checklists. It is a structured tool, usually component specific, used to verify that a set of required steps have been performed. They are used in the quality control process. The second last output is process improvement plan, how we are going to improve the quality process improvement. It is a subsidiary of the project management plan. It has process boundaries which describe the purpose of the process, their start and end, their inputs, outputs, the data required, the owner and stakeholders. Then it has the process configuration, which is a graphical depiction of processes with interfaces identified used to facilitate analysis. We have the process metrics along with control limits, which allows analysis of process efficiency. Then targets for improving performance, which guides the process improvement activities. The last one is the project document updates, where we update the stakeholder register and responsibility assignment matrix. So these 5 outputs are pretty important. You should know that what outputs are from the plant quality management process, and again they are quality management plan, quality metrics, quality checklist, process improvement plan, and project document updates. So that finishes the first process. let's jump to the second process. Again, the second process, which is perform quality assurance, falls under the executing and managing process group. Now, perform quality assurance has 5 inputs, 3 tools and techniques, and 4 outputs. So we have to understand what is perform quality assurance and what is perform quality control. Now, if you look over here, quality assurance versus quality control, what's the difference between these two? A lot of times people get confused. Quality assurance makes sure you're doing the right things the right way. Quality assurance is process oriented. Quality assurance is failure prevention system. So that's what we're doing right now. And the next tool and technique, the next process, which is quality control, the one in red in the monitor and control process group. Quality control makes sure the results of what you are doing are what you expected. Quality control is product oriented. Quality control is failure detection system. So you see the difference between these two? Quality assurance is process oriented. Quality control is product oriented. Quality assurance is failure prevention system, and quality control is failure detection system. So let's go back to perform quality assurance. Now the inputs that we have over here: quality management plan, process improvement plan, quality metrics, quality control, measurements, and project documents. And most of them come from the outputs, which is the output for plan quality management. Let's look into the tools and techniques, which are 3 tools and techniques, again really important with respect to your exam. Quality management and control tools. The tools include Affinity diagrams, process decision program charts, tree diagram, prioritization, matrices, activity network diagrams, and matrix diagrams, where affinity diagrams are used to generate ideas which can be linked to form organized patterns of thought about a problem. The process decision program charts, used as a method for contingency planning, as it helps teams in anticipating immediate steps that could derail achievement of the goal. Then we have interrelationship diagrams as well. We have tree diagrams, also known as systematic diagrams, which are used to represent hierarchies such as work breakdown structure, organizational breakdown structure, resource breakdown structure, which are used to visualize parent to child relationship. The next one of the quality management control tools is prioritization matrices, which identify the key issues and suitable alternatives to be prioritized as a set of decisions for implementation. Then we have activity network diagrams, and we've already seen that in the previous chapter. A project schedule management knowledge area. And the last control tools for quality management is matrix diagram, used to perform data analysis in the form of a matrix. It shows the strength of relationship between factors, causes, and objectives. The next 2 tools and techniques for the perform quality assurance processes, process analysis, and quality audits. Process analysis follows the steps outlined in the process improvement plan. That's why it is the input over here from the previous process. It also examines problems experienced, constraints experienced, and no value added activities identified during process operation. Next one is quality audits. Audits are used again to perform quality assurance. So audits are used to perform quality assurance, and what is used to perform quality control? We have inspections. So don't get confused between inspection and audits. Inspections are done in the quality control and audits are done in quality assurance. So structured independent review to determine whether project activities comply with organizational and project policies, processes, and procedures. The objectives are to identify all good or best practices being implemented, identify all the gaps and shortcomings, share the good practices implemented in similar projects in organization and industry, proactively offer assistance which help team raise productivity, highlight contributions of each audit in the lessons learned repository in the organization. So these were the tools and techniques that are used to perform quality assurance. Now again, we get 4 outputs from here, namely organizational process assets updates, which update the quality standards. Then we have the change requests. Again, the change request always uses the integrated change control process to implement corrective, preventive, or to perform defect repair action. The third one is project management plan updates, where you update the quality management plan, schedule management plan, cost management plan. Finally, the project document updates, where you update the quality audit report because you're doing audits over here. Then the training plans and the process documentation. That finishes the second process for perform quality assurance in the knowledge area of project quality management. Let's jump to the last process that we have in this knowledge area, which is controlling the quality. Now we have a lot of tools and techniques over here which we use to control the quality. First, we look into the 8 inputs. Then we have 4 tools and techniques and the 8 outputs. The inputs are project management plan, quality metrics, quality checklist, work performance data, which is plan versus actual technical performance, plan versus actual schedule performance, and plan versus actual cost performance. Then the approved change request, which can include modifications such as defect repairs, revised work methods, and revised schedule. Then we have the deliverables. After deliverable, we have project documents as an input, and then finally we have the organizational process assets input, which include the quality standard and policies, standard work guidelines, issue and defect reporting procedures, and communication policies. So let's look into the tools and techniques. This is where we have 4 tools and techniques. We are going to look into all the 7 basic quality tools. Then we have the check, then we have the statistical sampling, inspection, and the approved change request review. So we've seen all of these in detail already in the detail chapter. So let's go through them really quick. One is the cause and effect diagram, also called as the Ishikawa diagram, and the risk and the Fishbone diagram. Again, it's important to know that this one is even used in risk analysis, and it is used to find the root cause of the problem. So if in the exam they ask you to find the root cause of the problem, which quality tool is the best, then you should know it is the Fishbone, Ishikawa, or the cause and effect diagram. All three of them are the same, and they look like this. It's in the shape of a fish, and it has the cause and the effect, finding the primary cause, the secondary cause, and going all the way to find what caused it, as in all the way root cause. Then we have the control charts, which illustrate how a process behaves over time, and when a process is subject to special cause variation, resulting in an out of control situation. Now again, the control chart looks something like this. It has an upper control limit, lower control limit, and in the middle is the average. Anything going over the limit is not good, so you have to make sure everything stays within the limits. Then we have a flow charting is used to perform quality control to determine failing process steps and identify potential process improvement opportunities. Again, even this is used in risk analysis. So flow charting right here. So it has a start, the decision boxes, and what to go and how to go ahead. It shows the whole flow of the process, and then you can identify what the problem is. We have the histogram, which shows often a particular variable state occurred. Each column represents an attribute of characteristic problem situation. Now, picture for the histogram is right here. So each bar is a problem, and what is the frequency that it happened to, and they are put in boxes or bins or groups. We have the Pareto chart. Again, Pareto chart is like the histogram, but over here the rank ordering is used to focus corrective action. So in the exam they have the 80-20 principle. It is the Pareto chart because it's also referred to as that, where 80% of the problems are due to 20% causes. So this is your Pareto chart. So if you see, it is with respect to the frequency. The first one is all the way up, and then it keeps going down. So this is how it looks like, because you have to stress more and fix the one that is the major problem. The last one we have is even the scatter diagram, where you could see right here. This tool allows the team to study and identify the possible relationships between changes observed in two variables. So when they ask you anything with two variables, you gotta know that's the scatter diagram. And the closer the points are to the diagonal line, the more closely they are related. There's one more, which is the check sheet, which is right here. So you carry a check sheet where you put in the type of the defect and how many times did it happen, was the total. So you maintain a check sheet so you can make sure that you're recording everything that's going wrong with the quality. So the other three are statistical sampling. Again, we've seen this before, which involves choosing a part of population of interest for inspection. Next one is inspection. It is the examination of work product to determine whether it conforms to documented standards. Generally includes measurements. Inspections may also be called as reviews, peer reviews, audits, or walkthroughs. Approved change request review. All approved change requests should be reviewed to verify they implemented as approved. So these are all the tools and techniques that are used in quality control. Again, extremely important for your exam. So let's see the 8 outputs. One is the quality control measurements. They are the documented results of quality control activities in the format specified during the quality planning or the quality management plan. The validated changes, which are any changes or repaired items are inspected and they will be either accepted or rejected before notification of the decision is provided. Rejected items may require rework. Then we have is the validated deliverables, is the result of execution of quality control process are validated deliverables. They are an input to the verify scope for formalized acceptance. So see validated deliverables, again they are an input to verify scope for formalized acceptance or validate scope for formalized acceptance. Now let's go look into the validate scope. There you go. So they are an input over here, which is validated deliverables. So deliverables which are ready for customers approval. So you see how it is connected. Then we have the work performance information. We've seen this before. Organizational process assets updates, where we update the checklist and the lesson learned documents. Change requests, as I keep saying all the time, usually the control and monitor and control process groups, all the processes that fall in there has to do with changes, has to do with work performance information, has to do with project document updates and change requests. So you don't even need to remember this in all the processes. Pretty much most of the processes have these. So in change requests, it should be initiated in accordance with define, perform integrated change control process, project management plan updates where quality management plan, process improvement plan are updated, and project document updates where you update quality standards. So that finishes these 3 processes. It looks like these 3 processes are tiny, but there's a lot going on there. And again, just these processes, 3 processes, has a lot of questions in your exam. So make sure you learn these 3 processes really well. We have a few more things over here, which is notes. Again, I covered this in detail in my chapter. You have to know who's Edward Deming, and he's basically credited with having the greatest influence on quality management. He claimed that higher levels of quality leads to higher levels of productivity, and he was the one who came up with the idea of plan, do, check, act. So first you plan, then you do, then you check, and then you act on what you checked. He's the one. Then the next one is Deming chain reaction, which is again he had a chain reaction quality control method where you improve the quality, and if you improve the quality, the cost decreases because less rework and mistakes. Then productivity obviously improves. It captures market and better quality and lower price. Why? Because we have improved the productivity, improved the quality, and decreased the cost. And again, this is all makes you stay in business and provide more jobs. So all this is connected like a chain reaction. So you mess up somewhere and then the whole thing gets messed up. We have Joseph Juran. Again, he's credited with the quality trilogy, where you plan quality, control quality, and do quality improvement. The third guy is Philip Crosby. He says there should be 0 defects. Quality is expense of non-conformance. Then he was the one who said quality is free. It's not a gift, but it is free. What costs money are the bad quality things, all the actions that involve not doing jobs right at the first time. So even though these are not in your book, but you still got to know who these people are and what they were credited with. Another important thing is the quality and grade. What is the difference between those two? Again, quality is the degree to which a set of inherent characteristics fulfill requirement. So if I were to design a glass, and as far as the glass is designed with respect to what the client's requirement were, then I have achieved good quality. On the other hand, there is a grade, which is a category or rank used to distinguish items that have the same functional use. Example, hammer, but different technical characters. Example, different hammers may need to withstand different amounts of force. So the glass that I made has a good quality, but when it comes to grade, if I drop it, it breaks. And then there is a third company that makes the same glass, that when they drop the glass, it doesn't break. So what is the difference between the quality and the grade of the glass that I made and the other company made? We both have good quality, but the other company has a better grade because when you drop their glass, it doesn't break. Another example could be a Honda Civic and a BMW, or a motorcycle with good materials but basic design. What is the example of that? So it is good materials, customer is happy, so it is got a high quality, but when it comes to grade, it has low grade because it's just a basic motorcycle. It's not like the super motorcycles that you have over there. It's just a basic motorcycle. Next thing we gotta remember is the Lean Six Sigma. All the numbers, 1 sigma is 68.26. Again, you have to pretty much memorize these numbers because they could ask you any one and then you gotta identify what's the percentage. 2 sigma is 95.46%, 3 sigma is 99.73%, and 6 sigma is 99.99% error free. So that finishes this review, which was a pretty long review. I try to keep it under like 25 minutes. But again, I know before you go for the exam, you're not going to go through the detailed lectures. So this review, even though it's a little bit detailed review, it helps because as far as you stay within 1 hour, you can always spend 10 hours a day before the exam and go through all these reviews and questions and answers. So let's jump quick into the questions and answers. So let's go to the first question. First question is, conformance to requirements is called what? Now the answer is over here. It is called quality. Is the degree to which set of inherent characters fulfills requirements. Now what is the difference between the quality and the grade? I already did that over here when I explained what is quality and what is grade. The next question is, quality is achieved when a product meets customer requirements. Is that true or is that false? Again, same answer. It is true. Now the next question is, whose ultimate responsibility is to manage quality? Is it the project team? Is it the project manager? Or is it the stakeholders? Now the question over here says ultimate responsibility, and that lies with the project manager. But who is responsible for it? The team is as well responsible for managing the quality, but the ultimate responsibility lies with the project manager. Now, what percentage of total distribution is 3 sigma from the mean? Now, what percentage is the 3 sigma from the mean? It is 99.73%. Now, the next following question is, what percent of total distribution is 1 sigma from the mean? And the answer in that case is 68.26%. The next question, what is the difference between QA and QC? And we already covered that before. QA is a process oriented, QC is product oriented. QA is failure prevention system and QC is failure detection system. Cost incurred over the life of the product by investing in preventing non-conformance to requirements is called cost of what? Now again, over here is called cost of quality. That's your answer. Failure costs are also called cost of poor quality. Is that true or is it false? And again, you have another one over here that says failure cost is also called cost of poor quality, and that is true. Now, the way I'm doing the questions, you should understand these are not multiple choice questions. These are general questions which you need to know the answers for. Now, you are going to use these answers and select the right ones when you get multiple questions for your final exam. So the exam will give you an option for 4 multiple questions, and then you have to select one. Now, if you already know what cost of quality means, then you really don't have a problem selecting the answer from the different types of questions that they give you. They could frame the question in 10 different ways, but as far as you know what cost of quality is, there's no way you are going to get it wrong. Now let's jump to the next question. What tool and technique is used to determine whether or not a process is stable or has predictable performance and is within its control limits or is out of limit? Now we've seen that tool and technique, and the tool and technique is using the control charts. Again, the image for that is over here, so you know it is within the limit and which is outside of the limit. What involves choosing part of the population of interest for inspection? And again, the answer over here is a tool and technique for plant quality management, and it is called statistical sampling. The next question, explain design of experiments with an example. Now, design of experiments is a statistical method for identifying which factors may influence specific variables of a product or process under development or production. Design of experiments should be used during plant quality process here to determine the number and type of tests and their impact. Now, a simple example of this would be like before you get some drugs out in the market, medicines. So they do a lot of experiments on those medicines and see their impact and test it to make sure that the quality is good enough for someone to have it without affecting them. So that is what design of experiments is, and that is an example related to design of experiments. Flowcharting, cost of quality, control charts, benchmarking, and statistical sampling are tools and techniques of which quality process. Now again, these are tools and techniques for the quality control process. How can flowcharting help team members? Now if you look in flowcharting, it is used during the perform quality control to determine a failing process step. So when we are using flowcharts for quality control, we go through the flow and try to find out where the problem could be, because we are following all the possible steps that could happen in that particular flow or scenario. Brainstorming, affinity diagram, nominal group techniques, matrix diagrams, force field analysis are types of what planning tools. Now again, it's a planning tool. So if you look in here, they are all types of additional quality planning tools, and they are brainstorming, affinity diagram, force field analysis, nominal group techniques, matrix diagram, prioritization, matrices. Again, they're even used in different processes. Explain prioritization matrices. Prioritization matrices, what they do is assign different weights and options, and finally what they do is select which is the best option according to the weight assigned. Quality metrics, quality checklists, and process improvement plan are outputs to which process. So they are quality, process improvement. So quality metrics, quality checklist, and process improvement plan, again they are outputs to the plan quality management process. QA, which is quality assurance, is a failure prevention system, while QC is what? So the answer here is QC is the failure detection system, and we saw that over here. What are the inputs for quality control? Now we have 8 inputs, which is project management plan, quality metrics, quality checklist, work performance data, approved change request, deliverables, project documents, and organization process assets. What are the outputs of performing quality assurance? And this is quality assurance. We have 4 outputs over here, which is organizational process assets updates, change request, project management plan updates, and project document updates. Quality audits are done in which process? Is it QA or QC? So quality audits are done over here, and the process is QA, which is perform quality assurance. What are the inputs for quality control? We just saw that is project management plan, quality metrics, quality checklist, work performance data, deliverables, project documents, organizational process assets, and approved change requests. The project manager wants to check the quality process flow. What tool and technique will he use? So if he wants to check the process flow, he's going to use the tool and technique which is Flowcharting, and this is one of the 7 basic quality tools. Now next question is, where can you go see the quality requirements? Now the quality requirements, you could go see it in the quality management plan. What is process improvement and output of? This is process improvement and it is an output of plan quality management. When the quality process is not within limits, what tool and technique do you use to predict the performance? When it is not within the limits, what tool and technique would you use? You would use the tool and technique of control charts and see what's happening and where the problem is. What tool and technique, which is from quality control, uses rank ordering? So for rank ordering, the tool and technique that's used is the Pareto chart. So rank ordering is used to focus corrective action. So see, just a small little word like that, and then you got to know what exactly are we doing, what process are we in, what tool and technique is that using. The next question, to study the possible relation between two variables, what is the best tool and technique used? Again, for two variables, what is the best tool and technique? Over here, possible relationship between changes observed in two variables. So the tool and technique is the scatter diagrams. What tool and technique are used to perform quality assurance? To perform quality assurance, we have 3 tools and techniques, which is quality management and control tools, process analysis, and quality audits. Then what are the 7 basic quality tools? We all should know by now. It's all the way over here, and they are cause and effect diagram, Ishikawa or Fishbone diagram, control chart, flow charting, histogram, Pareto chart, check sheet, and scatter diagrams. Again, really important for your exam. Quality is free, 0 defects, and quality is expense of non-conformance were whose philosophies of quality management. Now remember, this over here, quality is free, that's Philip Crosby. 0 defects and quality is expense of non-conformance. Who maintained that the majority of poor quality in a system is caused by management? Plan, do, check, act, and is credited with having the greatest influence on quality management. Now again, that is Edward Deming. He's the one who said that the plan, do, check, act. Then he's the one who stressed that the ultimate responsibility for quality management lies with the top management. Again, he's the one who's credited with the greatest influence on quality management. Quality trilogy, which says plan quality, control quality, and quality improvement, fitness for use are whose philosophies? And they are Joseph Juran's philosophies. The next question is, improve quality, cost decreases because of rework and mistakes, productivity improves, captures market with better quality and lower price, stay in business and provide jobs. Again, this is a chain reaction, and it is explained by who? The answer being Edward Deming, if you look at his chain reaction. The next question is, the design of experiments technique allows you to find those factors that have the most impact on quality. This allows the project manager to focus on factors that are most important. Again, is it true or false? And as always, my answers are always true. The next question is, standard deviation is the measurement of a range around the mean. Again, is this true or false? Again, the answer over here is true. It is the measurement around the mean. So over here you have the mean, which is the average, and the upper control limit and the lower control limit. And standard deviation is from the mean. Next question is, possible root cause can be uncovered by continuing to ask why and how. What technique is the project manager using? Now in the question, if you see root cause, it's always Ishikawa diagram, Fishbone, or the cause and effect diagram. And they can be uncovered by continuing to ask why and how. What are the other names for Ishikawa diagram? Again, the answer is cause and effect diagram, Fishbone diagram. Also referred to as 80-20 principles, where 80% of the problems are due to 20% causes. What are we talking about over here? We are talking about the 80-20 principle, which is the Pareto chart. Is a specific type of histogram ordered by frequency of occurrence. Rank ordering is used to focus corrective action. Now, rank ordering, again, we're talking about the Pareto chart. What tool and technique in quality control shows how often a particular variable state occurred? Now, what tool and technique is that? Now, the answer for that is a histogram, which shows how often a particular variable state occurred. Again, each column represents an attribute of characteristic of a problem and situation. Run chart, statistical sampling, scatter diagrams, inspection are tools and techniques of which quality process. Now, run charts, statistical sampling, scatter diagram, inspections are tools and techniques of which process, and the process is quality control or control quality. Now let's get to the last question, is name some additional quality planning tools. And we have the additional quality planning tools over here as brainstorming, affinity diagrams, force field analysis, nominal group techniques, matrix diagrams, and prioritization matrices. So that finishes the review and the questions and answers for your project quality management knowledge area. And the next chapter that I will be working with for review and questions and answers is human resource management. So I hope you're understanding and enjoying these lectures and learning from that, more importantly. And I hope it helps you for your exam, and I hope you pass your PMP in your first attempt. Again, this is Tutor Ali, and I will see you in the next class. Thank you.